I think if you haven't dealt with it, then you're affected, but I've completely dealt with it. It's something that happened a very long time ago.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our list of contemporary stars who have some grim moments in their past.
Does it make a difference?
That he was trained by the CIA? Yeah, I think it makes a difference.
Number 10, Zac Efron's Rehab.
Hey, just promise me one thing. Remember me. Every time you think of my face, you remember this.
Many of us find that life can be hard after high school, but for Zac Efron, life grew more difficult after High School Musical. Following his rise to stardom, Efron found himself at a crossroads. He was now a teen idol, but was also ready to move into more adult roles.
What if you want to try something really new, and it's a total disaster and all your friends laugh at you?
Well, then maybe they're not really your friends.
This is a hard transition for many actors who find success in their early years, and Efron described feeling like there was a hole inside him that he couldn't fill. And being a hot young actor in Hollywood meant everything was at his fingertips, including a number of vices. His struggle with substance use disorder eventually sent him to rehab in 2013.
You know, whenever you reach the edge of your comfort zone, and you're maybe perhaps afraid of what may happen, or you're afraid of failure, that's usually the green light to go.
Number 9, Allison Mack recruited for a cult.
Look, nobody wanted to see her die. But if you hadn't come when you did, it would have been my obit on the front page. Maybe.
For 10 seasons, Allison Mack played a close friend of Clark Kent, Chloe Sullivan, on Smallville. However, Mack would become quite close with a villain in real life. Mack became involved with the NXIVM organization in 2006. On the surface, it was an organization focused on coaching and empowerment, but really, NXIVM was a cult led by one man, Keith Raniere.
Somebody had asked me in an interview what I wanted to do in my career, like if I could do one thing, what would I do? And I said I wanted to change the way that young women thought and felt about themselves.
Mack eventually became very close with Raniere, as both an intimate partner and a recruiter of future cult members. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison on racketeering and racketeering conspiracy charges, serving 21 months before her release in July 2023.
I don't know the protocol because I'm just popping my cherry. So.
Oh my.
Number 8, Jack Nicholson's sister/mother.
Was rather flamboyant, I would say, for a 7-year-old or whatever it was.
Imagine finding out that your sister was actually your mother. It might seem almost impossible to fathom, but Jack Nicholson knows exactly how it feels. The actor's mother, June, was 17 years old and unmarried when she got pregnant. Her parents said they would raise the child with June acting as his sister.
Who is she? And don't give me that crap about your sister because you don't have a sister.
Nicholson was born in 1937, and it wasn't until researchers at Time magazine uncovered the truth in 1974 that he learned about his true parentage. By the time this came to light, both June and Jack's biological grandmother had died.
You want answers!
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Number 7, Matthew Perry's substance use disorder.
But Chandler never changed. The writing never changed. It was my ability to pull off this addiction that I didn't understand.
The middle seasons of Friends have some of the most classic Chandler moments of the series. However, had you asked Matthew Perry what it was like filming those episodes, he might have trouble telling you. Perry admitted his problems with substance use disorder were so bad during the filming of roughly the 3rd through 6th seasons that he pretty much can't remember it.
Well, that's the part where you tell him that I moved to France. When actually I'll be in Cuba.
After a jet ski accident in 1997, Perry became addicted to Vicodin. Following that, he also developed a dependence on methadone, amphetamines, and alcohol, and was in and out of rehab multiple times. His disorder cost him, in his own estimation, close to $9 million. Despite the hardships, Perry made it his life's work to help those going through similar experiences and helping them learn from what had happened to him.
Your finger was covering the lens.
Who are you, Ansel Adams? Get out of here!
Number 6, Rose McGowan was raised in a cult.
There's nothing to hide, Vern. You're nothing. We're everything. You're the shadow. We're the sun.
The Family International, also known as the Children of God, was a religious movement founded in 1968 that has often been called a cult. Former members of the organization have also accused the group of several instances of misconduct and abuse towards minors. Rose McGowan's parents were a part of the group until 1978, meaning Rose spent the first 5 years of her life among this community.
I even told my dad once, I was like, you don't even believe in this stuff. You're like a rock star and Jesus is your guitar.
Her unique childhood also included a stint as a teenage runaway. She was 15 when she found herself emancipated from her parents and left for California.
It was a very different life, you know, playing on the streets for money when you're little and doing things like that, but it gave me a tool set to start noticing that there are a lot of cults all around us.
Number 5, Matthew Broderick's dangerous driving.
It's really hard for me it would be such a long story to try to be fair and accurate about it. There'd be so many things that I'd have to talk about, you know.
In 1987, Matthew Broderick was vacationing in Ireland with his girlfriend Jennifer Grey. The couple was out for a drive when Broderick drove into the wrong lane and smashed into another car. Broderick came out of the crash with a concussion and a collapsed lung, and he fractured his leg and ribs.
I'm here. Everything's all set. So, hope you get here soon.
Grey got whiplash so bad she needed surgery to avoid paralysis. But they were the lucky ones, because the mother and daughter in the other car both died upon impact. And while he was charged with a crime that could have seen him spent up to 5 years in prison, he was only convicted of careless driving and received a $175 fine.
Here's where Cameron goes berserk.
Number 4, Pamela Anderson's babysitter.
Mitch, before you say anything, I am so sorry.
What are you doing, Sir-skiing today? You knew the time trials were happening?
Before she ever put on the famous Baywatch red bathing suit or had her tape with Tommy Lee stolen and shared around the world, Pamela Anderson was just a girl growing up in British Columbia. However, she revealed that there were some very dark moments in her childhood.
They were great parents. They did the best they can. You know, you can't keep an eye on your child at all times. And unfortunately, I had people in authoritative positions and positions that should be trusted, not trustworthy.
Her recollections unfortunately include a number of abusive incidents, including traumatic events involving her babysitter. It's heartbreaking to learn about the hurt and harm that Anderson endured throughout her life, but she's recently come forward and expressed that she now feels stronger than ever, despite her past.
I learned to never put myself in those situations again. And when I came to Hollywood, of course, I had a lot of offers to do private auditions and things that made absolutely no sense, just common sense.
Number 3, Woody Harrelson's hitman father.
I'm not saying my father's a saint, but I think he's innocent of that.
Woody Harrelson was born in 1961. According to the actor, his father, Charles Harrelson, left the house in 1968 and did not return. It wasn't until 1981 that Woody got news of his father's whereabouts.
Yeah, he's a psychopathic killer, but so what? There's plenty of them around.
However, so did a lot of the public, because it was in 1981 that Charles was arrested for the murder of federal judge John H. Wood Jr. Charles had reportedly been hired to commit the crime by a drug dealer who was worried about the judge's reputation for tough sentencing. Charles Harrelson died in prison in 2007, leaving a more complicated legacy for Woody to ponder.
Boy, it's pretty hard to beat the king.
Number 2, Charlize Theron witnessed familial violence.
Another reason why, it's just kind of tiresome to always talk about it is because it feels like people want that to be the thing that defines me.
Many people may be used to seeing their parents have disagreements, but Charlize Theron went through something very different. Growing up in South Africa, Theron's father had alcohol use disorder. In June of 1991, when she was just 15 years old, Theron said that she saw her father attack her mother and fire a gun at both her mother and herself.
I'm so proud of the fact that my kids live in a home where they feel safe and they feel like they're never going to have to walk on eggshells.
Theron's mother then found her gun and fired at her husband. An investigation ruled that the act was in self-defense, and Theron's mother was not charged. At 16, Theron and her mother moved to Europe and later the United States.
Years later, I found out he died in a car accident. I was overjoyed. It was like God finally struck him down for all his evil. I loved it.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, RDJ's father introduced him to substances.
I was wondering if I could stay at home tonight.
I just really would love to wake up and know where the hell I am for once. It'd be a nice change of pace for me.
Robert Downey Jr.'s history with substance use has been well documented, but what might not be as well known is that Robert Downey Sr. faced similar problems. Not only did he do drugs around his young son, he allegedly did them with him.
In a sentence, that was my childhood was what I saw Exton having. It was absolutely natural, and I took my comfort in being around the situation.
Senior and Junior began doing more substances together in what RDJ later described as his father trying to express his love for me in the only way he knew how. Luckily, in 2003, Downey Jr. got sober, with his wife to thank for pushing him to make that choice.
A lot of us did things and thought it would be hypocritical to not have our kids participate in marijuana and stuff like that, so we thought it was cute to let them smoke it and all that. It was an idiot move on our parts, a lot of us.
Which of these truths shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments.
Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.